Hello, and welcome to episode 18 of Michael's Record Collection. I'm Michael Citro, and in this episode, I'm talking to guitarist Jesper Lindgren from a Swedish band called Velvet Insane. Velvet Insane released a debut album in 2019, and coming up on July 16th, they're releasing a brand new record that's quite a departure from their self-titled debut. The album is called Rock and Roll Glitter Suit, and the music sounds just like you'd expect. It's 11 tracks of fun, catchy glam rock that'll have you singing and clapping along. I spoke to Jesper Lindgren about the making of the album, his influences, and his love of glam rock. Before we get to that interview, I want to take this opportunity to thank David Rowe, who became the first Patreon subscriber to Michael's Record Collection. I really appreciate your support. If you want to join David and get lots of extra value while supporting the show, please go to patreon.com/Michael's Record Collection and choose the level that's right for you. Now let's get to that interview with Velvet Insane's Jesper Lindgren. Here we go. All right, welcome to Michael's Record Collection. I am very excited to have with me on this episode from a band called Velvet Insane, founder and guitarist Jesper Lindgren. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thank you, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been listening to Rock and Roll Glitter Suit, which comes out on July 16th on Sound Pollution Records. This is an album, I would have to say, that really captured my imagination right from the beginning. It sounds fresh, but it also sounds fresh because it's so different than a lot of what's coming out right now. It's kind of a modern take on a retro style. There's a lot of different influences coming together here, and I wondered if you could tell me a little bit about your process. Your first album came out in 2019, a self-titled album, and that was more modern rock. And this sounds like if you took glam rock and took a little bit of power pop and you put it in a blender, it kind of would sound like this when it came out.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that you like the album and that you think it sounds just like the 70s, but has still a modern sound, because that's what we wanted to do with this album. We wanted to capture 1973 and the glam rock era, but we wanted to make it like modern, like a modern sound to it. So this album, it feels great. It's just gonna be released next week. So yeah, it's a lot of feelings right now, and yeah, we're really excited about it. And this album, we just sat down with our producer Sulu Carlson from the Diamond Dogs, and we started to talk about this album that we wanted to make. We wanted to capture, and we have always seen ourselves as a glam rock band. And we have tried different ways to get to that. And as you said, our last album, the first one, was more like modern rock and like a lot of more hard rock or even heavy metal in some different parts of the album. But yeah, we just sat down and we just got honest to ourselves and to what we want to make and what music we really love. We started this band, and I think you can hear that from the name Velvet Insane. We wanted to start a band that had a name that could be out from the 70s. So yeah, this album feels great, and we are really proud of it. It's me and Jonas Eriksson, the lead singer, and Ludwig Andersson, who's the bass player. And me and Jonas, we met back in 2013. Jonas is also the founder of the band together with me, and I had an idea to make a glam rock band that should be larger than life, like all the idols and all my favorite bands like T-Rex, Slade, Matti Hoople. I wanted that sound, and I also wanted a band name that could be fit a band from 1973. So I just put these two words together that sounded nice. It doesn't mean anything, but it sounds nice.
Yeah.
And it sounds glam rock. And I just met Jonas by accident at the local club, and we started to talk about all the music that we love, and and we started to write some songs. At first, Jonas was the drummer, but I think it was the night before our first gig, he told me that he wanted to sing. So we just hired a friend of ours to play drums at the show, and Jonas became the lead singer. And Ludwig joined the band like 2 years ago, and he's an old friend of mine from high school. So yeah.
So I mentioned the sound of this new album, Rock and Roll Glitter Suit, which is a fantastic name for the album. It instantly brings to mind this type of glam rock. I'm hearing a lot of musical influences in here. I hear some Mott the Hoople, Sweet, Slade, maybe some Bay City Rollers even at times, and Badfinger, and one band that I think is this reminds me of is a Canadian band called the Kings. Are all of those influences to you, or only some of them?
Yeah, all of them. And I really love Bay City Rollers, and I also, yeah, and New York Dolls. I think you can hear a lot of New York Dolls on the album, especially the track Space HD Day. And so, yeah.
Tell me about your musical tastes and how they develop. What was your first favorite record or your first favorite song that you remember?
The first record I got was actually it was an old tape from my grandfather's and grandmother's house. It used to belong to my mother. She was listening to it when she was young, and it was the album Double Platinum by Kiss. And the first song I heard was Strutter, the 1978 kind of a little more disco version of the song, and I really loved it, and I just got blown away about it. And I didn't know that Kiss wear makeup, so I had a lot to find out later. And yeah, and from that I found all these kind of glam rock bands like Slade and Mott the Hoople, and I also love Rod Stewart, and I also love a lot of different music, but especially from the 70s and the 60s. I also love In Excess, like from the 80s. But now I'm in a period when I'm listening a lot to Tim Buckley and Nick Drake. Yeah, like a lot, like singer-songwriters from the late 60s.
So all of these songs, there's 11 tracks on the album. They're all under 4.5 minutes long, very short, very catchy, strong melodies, nice harmonies, and very memorable choruses. I think that's what all of these songs have in common. How do you go about writing a chorus that's so easy to sing along with and so easy to remember? Like, you seem to have struck a formula here.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it simple. I think that's the key, to keep it simple, and it's just 11 pop songs, and we play it on electric guitars, just like it was in the 70s. Like Slade, all of their albums are like pop albums, but they have some distortion on the guitar. So I think, yeah, to keep it simple, and okay. I think that's the key.
You kick this thing off with Driving Down the Mountain, and you're in for a ride because the song literally starts with the sound of a car starting. What, how did you come up with that idea? Was that just something that happened in the studio? Did you already have that planned? Does that go, you mentioned a Kiss influence. Does that go back to Detroit Rock City?
Yeah, kind of. we talked about that idea right from the start when we started to rehearse the song together with the band that we have recorded the album with, and it's actually our producer's Zulu's idea that he wanted it to. It's just it fit the song, and it also, like, we're from the northern parts of Sweden, so yeah, it's kind of cool in some different ways. So yeah, it just yeah, we talked about it. It sounded fun, and we kept it, and yeah, I think it's really cool, and yeah, and it's got a lot of Kiss in it as well, as you said. So
yeah. Backstreet Liberace is one of the singles from the album. It's one of the most hand clappingest songs you'll ever hear. A great guitar solo. What is a Backstreet Liberace?
Liberace is an old piano player.
Right, I know who
that
Liberace
was larger
is.
than life. Yeah, so it's kind of that influenced, but it just, we wanted to have a cocky title, and yeah, we wanted to, yeah, it's the first single from the album, and we really wanted it to be 100% glam rock. So yeah, the title sounded nice, and yeah, so just
Well,
like the band name, it doesn't mean anything.
That's okay too. That's
Yeah,
that's what a lot of that music is like. It's a good tone. These first two tracks set a really good tone for the album. Again, you can clap along with them, you can sing along with them. The chorus is very memorable, very easy to latch onto. Tell me a little bit about the most recent single, "Sound of Sirens." It's a bit slower. It's got really lovely backing vocals. Tell me about that song.
we wanted to show another side of Velvet Insane. We wanted to show it, our 60s influences. We really love, like, the Beatles and Van Morrison and Elton John and all those kind of pop stuff. So yeah, we wanted to show that, but it was actually our record label that wanted it to be the next single. So it's their fault, and yeah, it's a good track, and it shows our 60s influences with a lot of it got a lot of Beatles in it, and yeah, it's kind of cool.
Did you have a different song in mind for the second single, one that you'd rather have put out second?
We talked about a few songs, but Velvet Tongue is a favorite of mine. It got a lot of ABBA in it, the Swedish band. Yeah. Got a lot of pop, and it's got a lot of glam rock, and it's 100% glitter, and yeah, swagger.
The clap along songs continue with "Riding the Skyways." It's more upbeat right again after "Sound of Sirens." Gets a little slower, then you come back up to a more up tempo song, and then one of the ones that I stuck out for me is "Spin on Crazy Moon," which starts off with an opening riff that sounds like an old Kiss riff from those first couple of Kiss albums. Was that intentional?
Kiss is my all-time favorite band, so of course there is Kiss in everything I do, I think. So yeah, and that's a cool track, and I wrote that guitar at home, and we started to jam on it and play along, and we came up with the chorus, and it sounded like The Who. That's from where the name came from. Like the moon, Keith Moon. So yeah, it's got a lot of 60s in it, but of course it's always Kiss in my songs.
"Sailing on a Thunderstorm" starts with a nice little acoustic guitar, and is that a mandolin I hear in that song?
Yeah, it is. That's also one of my favorite songs. It's got a lot of, like, Rod Stewart in it. So of course we have listened to Rod Stewart and Maggie May. That's why we have added the the mandolin part also.
Who played the mandolin on this? Was that you?
No, but actually I played a little mandolin in school, so I know a little, but it's our co-producer Kevin Porey who's playing it, and he's doing a fantastic job. And maybe on the next mandolin song I can play.
Keep practicing, right?
Yeah, of course.
You mentioned Space Age DJ earlier, and that is, again, one of the songs that stands out, at least for me. And it really, you start to name check some of your influences in the lyrics a little bit. It sounds a little like Slade or Sweet or Ian Hunter even. Tell me about the genesis of that song. How did that one come about, and just a little bit of background about that song?
That song is, I think it was one of the first songs that we added to this album, because we wanted one song that defined everything, defined the whole sound that we wanted to create, and that we wanted the album to sound like. And it's like, yeah, it's got a lot of New York Dolls in it, and it's up tempo, and it's got that crazy saxophone. So yeah, it's a really cool track, and I'm really looking forward to play that live. I think it would fit perfectly. Got a lot of energy, and it's fun, and it's, as you said, it's like a tribute to our heroes. We talk about like Slade, and also we have added the Fox on the Run in the second chorus. We got that Fox on the Run part.
Right.
That's of course a tribute to our glam heroes.
How is the gig and the live performance situation in Sweden right now? Are you guys coming out of the pandemic? Are you able to do live shows?
Yeah, it's have opened up a bit. We have actually we played a few shows last year, unplugged together with Dragon from the Helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it has started to open up a bit, but it's still hard. No one knows about everything, so let's see what happens. But we have some shows and we have some tours ahead of us, so that we hope that that will happen. So we are holding our thumbs.
How is the Velvet Insane live experience? What can people expect when they go see you guys play live, now that they're going to be hearing these glam rock songs? Are they going to see a glam rock band?
Of course they will. A lot of energy, a lot of great music, and yeah, a lot of energy. I think energy is the perfect word for our shows. And it's, yeah, like in 1973, but still fresh. And yeah, that's a tricky question actually, but a good one. So, but a lot of energy.
Will you be wearing rock and roll glitter suits?
Yeah, I think so. And of course we will. Of course.
What about makeup? Do you guys do makeup?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Some glitter and some eyeliners, and yeah, it's always different from every show.
Okay.
So yeah.
So this album ends up on You're the Revolution, and to me this song sounded a little different than some of the others. There's still that sort of glam rock backdrop to it. It feels to me like an Oasis song, kind of. Is that an influence on this song?
No,
No,
no, actually not. not in. I don't know. Maybe Sulo is listening to Oasis, but we don't. We just wanted to have a noisy ballad that ended up with a great guitar solo. So that's why we added the song and wrote it. We just wanted a noisy ballad. So.
All right, a noisy ballad. I like the
Yeah, a
sound of
noisy.
that.
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of Beatles in it, and it's got a lot of modern pop in some ways, I think, as
Well,
well,
that makes
especially with the
sense.
chorus.
That really makes sense because Oasis basically very heavily Beatles influenced, so that's probably what I'm
Yeah,
hearing there.
yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting song. But so these 11 tracks, you guys obviously worked very hard on them. How long did it take from the time you guys started writing to the time you finished recording?
We recorded the album last summer. Most of it took like a week, and we started to write it in the early, early May, and we rehearsed some, but yeah, a few months, and then we added some more stuff, like maybe totally like 8 months or so, I think.
Okay. Did this all happen during the pandemic then?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Were you able to get together or did you send each other tracks? How did that work?
we live in the same town, actually, the whole band, and
Mm-hmm.
also our backing band, and Zulu is living in Stockholm, but it worked fine. He just took the train and we took the train to him, and we recorded it like in the middle of both Östersund, where we live, and Zulu in Stockholm, in a town called Sundsvall. It's kind of in the middle of them. So yeah, it worked fine, and we had some digital meetings, but we wanted to get together in real life and write the track and work on it. And then Kevin, our co-producer and the one who has done the mixing on the album, he's living in London, in England. So yeah.
So when you guys write, do you guys bring demos together or do you come in and write songs by jamming? How does that process work?
We write everything on just one acoustic guitar, and and Jonas is writing the lyrics together with me and Sulo, but mostly we write on acoustic guitars. A good song you have to be able to play a good song on both on acoustic guitar and electric. We write on we sit down and jam, and we most of the time we got some ideas that we bring to the rehearsal. So
is there a plan to tour the United States as for Velvet Insane?
Yeah, we hope so. Actually, we have played in New York and Baltimore and Philadelphia, and we had done a few shows there like a few years ago. So we would love to come back and play again. So we hope we can do that in the future.
When somebody buys this album when it comes out, and you guys have some really lovely vinyl version of this as well. When someone buys the album and they play it start to finish, what do you hope that the listener takes away from the experience?
I first off, I hope that they have a great time, and I think I hope that they like the album. But it's a feel good album, and it's kind of, maybe it's a bit party and stuff like that. But I hope people enjoy it and have a great time and put on a smile while they are listening to it.
Now, your band got off to, from what I understand, a little bit of a tragic start to this. You had a manager who passed away, and then you kind of changed your career path. Is that what happened?
Yeah, kind of. I had my former band that I had in high school. We signed a pretty famous manager from Sweden who have worked with a lot of big Swedish band like Backstreet Babies, Helicopters, Crash Diet, and a few others. And he overdosed in, I think it was on a party on a tour somewhere in England. I think it was in Nottingham, and he passed away, and I stopped playing for a while. I lost my energy and my love for music for a while, and then I came up with a band name. Started to write some songs, and I started to track some demos, and I met Jonas, and we just enjoyed play together, and and we started to tour, and it all started with that tragic accident that happened.
Mhm. Was there any particular event that made you think, yeah, I'd like to get back into music again, or was it just, you just needed time to heal?
I think I needed time to heal, but
Mhm.
I just started to listen to my old records again, to the Slade albums and the Mata Hopel albums and the Kiss albums again. Uh, because I had just written and recorded albums and worked my ass off uh, to reach my goals. So I have had forgot and lost some of the love for the music, and I just got back to my record collection. So
Mhm.
I think the record collection made me, yeah, it, it got me back on track.
Yeah, sometimes that's all it takes. Speaking of your record collection, how do you normally listen? Are you a vinyl guy? Do you listen to CDs, digital? How do you listen usually?
Usually digital, but I really love both vinyl, but I also love tapes, and so yeah, but no CDs for me,
Mm.
just vinyls and the tapes. And I think I used to listen to on like Spotify or iTunes because I'm lazy.
Yeah, it does make things easier, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Um, what was the last record you listened to, start to finish?
Besides Rock and Roll Glitter Suit,
Yep.
I have to check that out actually. Let's see. I just checking my Spotify for Slade in Flame actually. Yeah, Slade in Flame.
It's obvious that you really love that era of music. Is that a genre that you think is ripe for a comeback at this point? Do you think it's been an overlooked period of music?
Yeah, I think so. I think yeah, the world needs some glam rock that is exciting, and I think it's the perfect time for it uh, because it got a lot of energy, it got a lot of feel good music, and it's uh, it's art actually, and I
Mhm.
think people need that. People need real music that got a lot of art in it that
Was glam
makes you
rock?
think. Yeah, that
Oh,
makes you think.
it does. What was glam rock big in Sweden?
Yeah, I think uh, I'm too young to know. Actually, I'm just 26 years old, so I missed that era. But yeah, especially Sweet was really, really big in Sweden.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm always curious as to how different types of music were received
in other parts of the world. I know that Sweden has a very nice power metal community, obviously some progressive rock there as well. What did your friends listen to when you were growing up?
My friends, let's see. I think it was like pop, the biggest hip hop yeah, hip hop. But then I started to go to this music school that both me and Jonas and Ludwig has went to, and yeah, I think it was a lot of progressive metal, and some death metal was really big, and especially, and of course black metal was. So yeah, it was a lot of different types of metal that was big.
All right. Yes, Jesper Lindgren of Velvet Insane. This comes out on July 16th, and it's going to be on all of the streaming sites.
Yeah, it will.
Rock and Roll Glitter Suit. And where's the best place for fans to buy your album?
At our record company, Sound Pollution. Yeah, on their just Google Sound Pollution and get to their site and buy it, or check our Facebook or social media to find the right way to buy it.
And you guys are on Facebook, but you don't have a Velvet Insane website yet?
No, we have had that in times, but we're too lazy to have it actually. We just got we think like Facebook and Instagram and other channels, social media are enough.
Okay.
It takes a lot of time, too much time from the music. So.
Yeah, that's it. It's not that you're too lazy, it's that you're too busy.
Yeah, let's put it that way. Yeah.
All right, Jesper Lindgren from Velvet Insane. Thank you so much for being with me on Michael's Record Collection. Tell me a little bit about this record. It's a fun listen. It's like I said, 11 songs. They're all fairly short. They're very catchy. They're very melodic. They get stuck in your head, and I think these are all good signs of what you're looking for when you listen to glam rock.
Thanks, man. I'm really happy that you like the album, and thank you for having me on the show. Absolutely,
very very happy to have you. Folks can hit that like button, and you can subscribe to the newsletter. Go to michaelsrecordcollection.substack.com, and tell your friends.
Michael's Record Collection is hosted and produced by Michael Citro. Logo graphic courtesy of Jerry Cutchins. Follow Michael's Record Collection on social media, at Mike's Records on Twitter, and Michael's Record Collection on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you like what you hear, you can support the show through our Patreon at patreon.com/Michael's Record Collection. For the free newsletter version, go to substack.com and just type Michael's Record Collection into the search bar. Thanks for listening.